The drug problems in America just keeps coming and coming and coming with no end in sight. Meth, as you know, is also exploding across the country, along with your heroin, your opioids, and your fentanyl. Meth use is growing problem in Minnesota, North Dakota, as communities struggle to address the rising use of heroin and other opioid narcotics. Another familiar drug has continued to tighten its grip. Figures from law enforcement and addiction treatment specialists show that methamphetamines remains the most commonly used hard drug in the region. Minnesota has experienced a 489% increase from 2009 to 2016 in meth seizures, according to the Department of Public Safety. And while 2009 marked a low point in levels for people seeking treatment, methamphetamines arrests and seizures have dramatically increased since then. The Minnesota Department of Public Safety announced the seizure of 487.7 pounds of meth in 2016, more than double the 230.3 pounds seized in 2015. In 2012, just 112.6 pounds of meth was confiscated by law enforcement in Minnesota. Law enforcement officials say methamphetamines currently flowing into upper Midwest comes largely from Mexico cartels. Minnesota Department of Public Safety Gang and Drug Coordinator Brian Marquardt said that around 2007, cartels figured out a way to mass produce high quality methamphetamines. That accounts for some of the massive influx of methamphetamines we're seeing across the country, including in North Dakota and Minnesota, he said. User quantity levels methamphetamine now range from 70 to 80% pure. Marquardt said in the early 2000s, when local small batch meth labs were more common, the quality of the product was high, but the quantity was relatively low. Now we are seeing very high quality into the 80th percentile at the user level, he said. A few years ago, a large seizure coming into the state would have been 3 to 5 pounds, Marquardt said. Now we are seeing seizures of 30, 50, 70, even 100 pounds of methamphetamines, either coming into the state or bound for Minnesota and North Dakota. The user base in the region is very high now. McCart said both states are seeing higher numbers of people seeking treatment. Methamphetamines crosses all socioeconomic boundaries, McCart said. Meth at the street level is typically purchased in grams, with dosage rates at about 1/10 of a gram. McCart said a gram in Minnesota cost around $100. For wholesalers, the price has dropped considerably, opening the potential for even greater profits. 4 or 5 years ago, it was around $20,000 per pound, and now it's down to about 5,000 per pound, he said. The drug affordability contributes to its growing use rates, experts say. It is widely available in most states. It is everywhere, McCart said. It is in small rural towns to large metropolitan areas. Truthfully, if people want to use it, they can find it, Davis said. Bulk methamphetamines that come into Minnesota largely comes from Mexico through the southwest border. The drug is transported by Mexican drug cartels in commercial and personal vehicles, McCart said. From the Twin Cities, the drug is distributed throughout the state and into neighboring states. Minnesota violent crime task forces prioritize targeting mid to upper level dealers operating in the state in an attempt to distribute the flow of meth in the region. We continue to work with our partners for treatment and education, McCart said. We can't do this alone. We need the public's help. While arrests and confiscations of methamphetamines continue to rise, so have admissions to addiction treatment centers for people battling dependency. What we are seeing in the data is alarming. Minnesota Department of Human Services Commissioner Emily Piper said in a release, methamphetamine's use is now second only to alcohol for treatment admissions in Minnesota. The good news is treatment works. By strengthening and improving our treatment center, more people will get help. They get the help they need when they need it. Residential treatment, even for the first 24 to 48 hours, can have a big impact on breaking the physical and sociological withdrawal users experience. Deb Davis, an assistant director at Northeast Human Service Center in Grand Forks, North Dakota. Okay. Over time, meth breaks down the body. Teeth rot. Users get little sleep, and often have poor nutrition. Yeah, and they can go days and days without sleeping. That's why they sound so crazy. They talk fast and they're real, what they call tweakers, you know. Prolonged amphetamines drug uses cause people to lose the ability to organically experience pleasure, Davis said. Even if someone has a period of sobriety, they may end up trying to use again just to get the feeling back. They just think they can do it one time, one last time, Davis said. Success, okay, for people in treatment is relative. Davis said many people tend to look at someone who has 4 months of sobriety and relapse as a failure, but she believes that is misguided. Every attempt at sobriety could be the time it sticks for good. We don't look at things like success and failure as black and white, Davis says. Oh, you may not look at it like that, but the vast majority of them fall off the bandwagon, and that's the truth. So, meth exploding in Minnesota and North Dakota, but it's really exploding everywhere. It's a big problem even here in New Jersey where I am. Please leave your comment and subscribe. And if you can donate to my channel, please do. Peace, family.